Morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. How did everyone do yesterday trading? Morning, everyone. Yep, so C-Blast new challenge starts in 2 days on Friday, I believe. Let me double check, right? Friday. So let me pull this up here. C-Blast is also he mentioned, right, we're doing a top trade of the week, right? It started 2 days ago, right? Make sure you're reading the announcements. Contracts must be above 0.15, high percentage wins, right? You have to alert it in the member signals tab under alerts. Can't have a delayed entry, no zero data expiration. All right, $50. What else? Oh, here. Right, on the BullTrades app, right? I know there's some issues for now on the BullTrades app, but if you're able to follow us, right, when I reach 5,000 followers and when C-Blast reach 5,000 followers, we're going to be each giving away $5,000, right? 10K total. And then when we reach 10,000 followers each, right? 10,000 followers on the BullTrades app. The issues are going to be fixed soon, right? We're working on the bugs. We're going to be giving away $25,000 each. I know there's some bugs. We're working on it. Profits. And EK, every 1,000 followers, he's going to be giving away a custom built PC. Okay. So, does anyone have any questions so far about any of that? Yeah, the buy sells are going to be alerted. Where did he announce that new challenge? I'm trying to find it. Oh, now you see me on the app. Sweet. EK, Eternal King, Seablet. I follow all the analysts or the staff, you know, but we're the only ones doing a giveaway. What questions does everyone have? Trying to find his post about the other challenge account. Whatever. Okay, let's get into today's material. I just got distracted. So swung SPY calls, but unfortunately, right, weakness around the board because of the war tensions, right? Everything's down pretty much 1%. SPY down 0.3%. QQQ down 0.5. IWM down 0.3, right? So tech's weakest here. SPY pretty much in the middle. Here's the setup that I was looking at, right? Inverse head and shoulders was in formation here, right? Multiple rejections across the board on this trend line here, in this whole period of chop, right? We have this uptrend, we have a period of consolidation, and now we have a potential move either to the upside or to the downside here, right? So pretty much there's going to be a big move, I think, in the coming days. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be Friday. Right, this previous resistance acted as a support multiple times across the board, right? Here, 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 right here as well, right? We had a double bottom yesterday, right? We're also flagging. This typically will always happen as a right shoulder, right? We have move up, and then we have this period of consolidation before we break out. Something like that, right? I thought we were going to get a gap up, but unfortunately war tensions are holding this thing back, and now we are going to be opening up below this level here. Gonna see what happens at open, but if this 397.28 level does not hold on SPY, I will be cutting my 400 calls. I will be cutting my 400 calls if that level doesn't hold. If it holds after like 10-15 minutes, right, I want to see a breakout to the upside, right? But most names are weak here, right? These are the main names, and they're pretty weak. Let's take a look at VIX. So, right, here was that VIX chart I mentioned yesterday, right? Look how that worked out, and look what happened to the market, right? A huge move to the downside. In VIX, you were able to perfectly tell that was going to happen. Right, so yesterday I played SPY puts when this broke out, it rejected, right? And then it ended up coming back down. It retested this trend line again. Delete this trend line here, right? It retested this old resistance as a new support for moving back up to the upside, and then it actually finally broke out and it flew. But today, kind of just straight up choppy right now. Nothing really too special. It's holding. It had a double bottom right here, right? Previous resistance, previous support, right? Acted as resistance, now acted as a support, right? So this keeps pushing up. That means SPY goes to the downside. So this level needs to break for SPY calls to work, right? 24 needs to break to the downside for SPY to move to the upside, right? VIX is inverse, and it's continuing to pop up to the upside here. QQQ, pretty much the same setup as SPY, right? We have left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder in formation here. We have multiple lows across this trend line here, so we might actually, I like this setup a lot, right? We might test this level here, which would be ideal if this bottom trend line can hold. I love calls at that low. Right, so now this might be my top watch for today, but it is Wednesday. I really don't like trading on Wednesdays. Typically we chop and premiums just burn. But if there is a setup in the beginning of the day, I will totally take a look at this. All right, so what do we got? Right, we got lower highs, we got higher lows, right? 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounce, all for this bottom trend line here, right? We have this previous resistance that acted as a support, right, at 286.31. So we're opening up down here as of now. If we move to the downside, watch this level for a bounce back up to the upside. Right? It's very, very simple. Don't try and make it too complicated. I'll put this here as well. Right? Ideally, if this can just consolidate a little bit more. Let me turn this thing off. Right? If this can just consolidate a little bit more and do something like that before breaking out, that would be the most ideal situation. But obviously there's a third party tension here that's causing it to move to the downside. If everyone could please drop a like on the video, I would appreciate it. We're only at 29 likes here. Let's get up to 100. Get that up to 100. How far back do I go on my trend lines? Depends what time frame I'm looking at. Right at here at open, I'm going to look at a smaller time frame, 10, 15 minute. So I'm only going to look at, the most recent price action because there's data that we can use. Right? If the chart looked like this and we have nothing here, right, you need to go back and you need to see what the situation here is with the price action before that. Right, but we have this move to the upside and a period of consolidation. Right, so if we take a look at the daily here on the overall market, we're still in an overall downtrend, right? We get consolidation, move to the downside, consolidation, move to the downside, consolidation, move to the downside, right? Consolidation, potential move back to the downside. So we need to see what happens here. Challenge account resumes, or the new one starts the new year, January 1st. But I do like the structure a lot here. right? This could be, no. So IWM looks more like a rising wedge, right? The highs kind of work out for this to be a rising wedge. But on QQQ, this high is too high up for that to be a rising wedge. Right? If we didn't gap up and we looked something like this, that would be a perfect rising wedge. Right? If this data wasn't here. But since we gapped up, right, that kind of invalidated that pattern. And on SPY, right, kind of the same thing. Don't really like that, right? But IWM definitely looks like a rising wedge. Right into resistance as well. Right, this previous resistance was a previous support, and so on. So let's take a look at some individual names. Here's the NVIDIA chart, right? Great looking chart as well. Multiple bounces off this low here. Multiple rejections at this high trend line, right? And we're opening up out of this wedge, right? So ideally, the best situation is for this to retest, right? That would be the best opportunity for puts, right? Showing weakness, it's down 2.98%, more than anything else in this watch list, right? So if this can move back to the upside or retests one of these levels here, either this 163 level or this 165 level, which is this previous resistance, all right, acted as support, and then move back to the downside, right? But if it can push up, right, an entry for calls wouldn't be until 168.09, right? This high here. Tesla looked very good as well, right? Overall downtrend, and then we had this period of consolidation, right? Kind of a flag. If I inverse this, right, this looks pretty good. Right, it looks like it's going to break out, right? We had this little flag here on the inverse chart. Look at this little bull flag that we got here. Right, you can either draw this probably like this. Honestly, it would be even better. Right, then we have this little flag, a little breakout. Right, that looks pretty good. Let's take a look at the inverse charts. Everything looks good on the inverse. I mean, you know, but it's always good to take a look at the chart on the opposite side. Looks pretty good. PayPal. Right across the board here. Right, like where, right, this is a little tough situation of where you would draw the trend line. It's a little forced. If anything, it would be like this, 100%. Right, this is exactly what I was looking for the SPY chart, right? We have the left shoulder, kind of the head, and a right shoulder, right? And we flag below it, we create higher and higher lows, right? This little flag here, and then it breaks out to the upside. That's kind of, you know, what I was looking at for SPY, to break out to the downside, or technically, right, the upside. We'll see what happens. It's sitting right at the lows here. But the market is pretty weak, right? All the individual names here are definitely weak. Let's see what else we got. Amazon double bottom at this level here. But this is the inverse chart. Yeah, if it looks good on the inverse, right, you're watching for shorts, right? If this moves to the upside, right, take a look at the time or the price here on the y-axis. Right, everything looks like it's about to move to the downside. Right, this looks like it's about to create a rounded bottom, technically a rounded top. I might trade on the inverse today. Looks pretty good actually. All right, look at Meta here. Whoops. All right, we have that high. We have this. There we go. And then we have, I cannot draw right now. Zoom in. All right, so we have this one, we got this one, and then we got this one. All right, perfect. Inverse head and shoulders, so technically head and shoulder. This little move to the upside kind of ruins it, but right, still same principle, right? We have a high or a low, and another low. Let's take a look at square. Delete all this. Square kind of looks good. Yeah, my charts are inverse right now. Just so we don't get that question a million times. Looks pretty good, honestly. All right, that's obviously not a good sign for anyone that's playing upside here. Right, we have this little gap to be filled here. Let me delete everything and then do it. So let's take a look at Apple here. Yeah, I might trade inverse charts today. This is a perfect inverse head and shoulders as well. All right, we have, you know, this left shoulder here, right shoulder, and this little right shoulder that we're starting to form here. Right, ideally, if this can just consolidate underneath and then break out. So I'm going to watch Apple actually for puts below 148.57. Right, because then we'll test 148.07. And then if that breaks, right, we should see continuation. But besides that, everything looks pretty weak. China is green, or BABA is green at least. Netflix is actually pretty strong here as well. All right, so Netflix actually we should keep an eye on, right? It's showing strength here in a weak market. Right, so first thing we want to look for is flow, and then after flow, right, we want to, or first thing we want to take a look at is the setup, of course, and then we want to keep an eye on flow. This is flagging pretty perfectly here. right above this previous resistance, right? We had this double top, broke out, we're consolidating below. Watch this level 312.51 for calls. And zoom out a little bit. We have a huge gap to fill to around there you go, 330. Right, so keep an eye on Netflix today. Definitely gonna keep an eye on this. Watch this set open. And that's really what I'm looking at, right? Everything else looks weak. Tesla puts, if this level rejects, at 192. PayPal puts below 88.92. Meta puts below 114.45. Everything looks pretty weak. But take a look at this chart. All right, here's SPX. Same thing as SPY. Right, we have a perfect falling wedge. Right here's SPY. Perfect falling wedge. If these lows here can hold at 394.8, things look great. Right, so that means the market might dump until 394, and then we might see a triple bottom here. All right, so keep an eye out for that, but try not to predict. Just play the levels. Right, just play the levels. So with that being said, market opens here in 3 minutes. I appreciate everyone stopping by. If you can drop a like on the video before you head out, I would really appreciate it. Let's switch over to the Discord and let's all have a plan. Don't chase, don't FOMO. If there's no setup, there's no trade. Appreciate all of you, stopping by. I'll see you in the Discord.